Hello everyone, this is the Board Game Lawyer. Today I'm going to do another Marvel Champions playthrough video using the Marvel Champions Monthly Matchup Challenge. Now they've issued another 2-week challenge to the community, and they've entitled this one Mobs of Minions. So I'm going to give this one a try. As always, they've given us the villain, who is Dr. Arnim Zola himself, and the encounter sets that they've selected is the Temporal set from Kang, as well as the Space Pirates from the Galaxy's Most Wanted set. So today I'm going to use my Guardians playmat using right now my favorite Guardians character, Gamora, at least she is this week. And she's going to be using the justice aspect. So let's get started. So I'm mostly set up here. I just need to make a few adjustments. We'll go ahead and look at Dr. Zola. He has a very basic text on his card. He says retaliate 1, and he begins the game with 12 health on him. So the main scheme tells us in its setup to search the encounter deck for the Hydra Prison and reveal it. So the Hydra Prison reads, when revealed, each player searches their deck, discard pile, and hand for a hero-specific ally and places it face down beneath this scheme. So Nebula is our hero-specific ally, and so it says that we place X threat on this scheme, where X equals the total cost of all allies beneath it. Each player shuffles their deck. So we're going to go ahead and put out the Hydra Prison. Since Nebula costs 2 and there's a 1 threat on the Hydra Prison itself, it'll come into play with 3 threat on it. So let's get all set up here. Nebula is in jail. And it tells us to shuffle our hero deck, so I'll just go ahead and do that right now. Shuffled it a little bit before I started recording. I'll go ahead and shuffle it just a little bit more. So I have a 40 card deck today. 40th card is in prison right now. And I'll go ahead and shuffle the encounter deck while I'm thinking about it. The encounter deck ready. The rest of the setup on the island of Dr. Zola reads that each player searches the encounter deck for a copy of the Ultimate Bioservant and puts it into play, engage with them, and shuffle the encounter deck. So we'll go ahead and flip over the island of Dr. Zola. Side 1A is complete. Side 1B reads, forced response. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 test counter here. Then, if there are 3 or more test counters here, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion into play, engage with the first player, and remove 3 test counters from the scheme. So Island of Dr. Zola comes into play without any threat on it. I've already gone and found my Ultimate Bioservant before I shuffled. And the Ultimate Bioservant reads that he comes into play with a toughness card. And that the Ultimate Bioservant gets +1 attack for each attachment on it. So Gamora begins the game with 10 hit points and a hand size of 6. Her ability says that you may include up to 6 attack and or thwart events in your deck. I'm just going to let you know I selected 2 attack events that are from another aspect, which is aggression. And her action says, look at the top card of your deck. If that card is an attack or thwart event, draw it. Limit once per round. So we'll go ahead and draw our opening hand. So we have 4 Justice. And we also have Keen Instincts. That's a good card to have at the beginning of the game. We have the Power of Justice, another good card. A Genius card. One Way or Another. I like that one. And an Acrobatic Move. Deal 2 damage to an enemy. So not a bad hand to start with. In fact, I might even just keep that hand. And we'll draw a card using her action. Look at the top card of your deck. So it's One Way or Another. It is not an attack or a thwart event, so we'll go ahead and put it right back on top where we found it. And I think the first thing that we're going to do then is we're going to play, we'll flip to our Gamora side. Now she has an interesting side. It says, Finesse, response, after you play an attack event, remove one threat from a scheme, limit once per phase. And Precision, response, after you play a thwart event, deal 1 damage to an enemy, limit once per phase. So, keep in mind that we did have our 4 Justice card, which allows us to remove 3 threat from a scheme. And we're going to use our Power of Justice to do that. So that's a good thing to do here at the beginning of the game because we need to get rid of that prison. So go ahead and remove 3 threat from the prison. And the prison reads, when defeated, remove this scheme from the game and return each ally beneath it to its owner's hand. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll grab our Nebula, put her back in our hand. Hydra Prison is gone from the game completely. All right, so since we played that 4 Justice card, it also allows us to do, using Precision, 1 damage to an enemy. So do we want to do the 1 damage to the Ultimate Bioservant and get rid of him now? Or do we want to just start knocking away at Dr. Zola? I think we're going to ignore the Ultimate Bioservant for now. Might be a mistake, but we do need to clear Zola quickly. So we'll put Dr. Zola down to 11. And then we do have that Keen Instincts card. And we have One Way or Another. Watch what I'm going to do with this. So it says hero action, search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal that side scheme, and draw 3 cards. So I think we're going to do that. It costs 0 to do that. And there is one particular side scheme that I like that's in this deck. Well, it's a thick deck. Look at that. Lots of cards. I kind of like that too because I want the Time Portal to kind of bounce around using this One Way or Another card. It comes into play with only 2 threat on it. It says force interrupt when this scheme is defeated, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of discarding it. So we can bounce that guy around because this card says here to reveal it and then draw 3 cards. So this card's discarded and I get to draw 3 more cards. So we're going to take another One Way or Another. We knew we were going to get that. We have cross counter and we have forward momentum. Okay, so we got a nice hand here. We do have Nebula. She's handy. We're going to go ahead and put Nebula on the table. We're going to spend our 2 Genius to put her out. And she reads, after Nebula enters play, search your deck for an attack or thwart event and add it to your hand. So we get to search our deck. And I know which one I want. It's the one that's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to Dr. Zola. Decisive Blow. Deal 4 damage to an enemy, 7 if you played a thwart event this turn. Keep in mind we did play a thwart event this turn. So I'm going to add that to my hand. And I do need to shuffle my play deck. That Time Portal came into play with 2 threat on it. Don't worry, I won't forget to put that on there. And we do need to get rid of that thing because that can cause a lot of problems down the road. So Nebula's out. And we played our One Way or Another card. So let's go ahead and play our Decisive Blow. Keep in mind, too, that we did play a thwart event this turn already. So we're going to do 7 more damage. Tell you what, before I do that, though, let's get our Keen Instincts on the table. Great card to keep out there. Keen Instinct says, exhaust Keen Instincts and generate a wild resource for an attack or thwart event. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pay cross counter. Well, that's a good one to keep going into the next round. But we'll go ahead and do it. We'll discard cross counter. And we will exhaust it for 1 resource. And we'll also exhaust forward momentum to remove 3 threat or forward momentum to play Decisive Blow. Okay, so Decisive Blow to do 7 damage to Dr. Zola. This is an attack event. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an attack event, and it's the first one I played, so I can remove 1 threat from a scheme. So we're going to take 1 threat off of that time portal. And because he has Retaliate, and that was an attack event, we do need to do 1 damage to Gamora. And then we have an acrobatic move. So we're going to do another 2 damage to an enemy. So Dr. Zola takes 2 more damage by means of an attack. So 1, 2. Doing another damage to Gamora. Takes her down to 8. We're going to hang on to that one way or another. You saw why. And Nebula is going to attack Zola. Now he has Retaliate, but since she's going to do 2 attack to Dr. Zola, that will simply knock him down to 0, so he won't be able to retaliate onto Nebula. So all the way down to 0. We've taken care of level 1 of Dr. Zola on our first round. So that'll flip us to level 2, Retaliate. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for test subject side scheme and reveal it. That's not such a good one to have out there at the beginning of the game, because I do believe it will cause us to have to draw an extra encounter card. So let's go find our test subjects. Side scheme. Might take me a minute here. There's a lot of cards in this deck. If I cycle through this whole deck, I'm in trouble. Shuffle that up. All right. And then Dr. Zola on level 2 comes into play with 14 hit points. All right. We have one way or another. I'm going to hang on to that card going into my next turn. I'm just going to use Gamora now to do 2 thwart. Need to add 2 to that test subject. 2 thwart onto the time portal. Time portal reads, when this scheme is defeated, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of discarding it. Back into the encounter deck it goes. See if I can shuffle this deck without dropping it all over the place. It's like not for small hands. All right, 2 threat on the test subjects. I'm going to hang on to that card to my next turn. So Gamora's going to ready. Nebula's going to ready. Keen Instincts is going to ready. And we'll begin Dr. Zola's turn after I draw my 5 cards. So we've got a Strength card. We have the Power of Justice. Uh-oh, give me some good cards. Under Surveillance, not bad. One way or another. Not much meat to that one. So, Dr. Zola's turn begins by placing 1 threat on the island of Dr. Zola. Then we have that force response. We have to place 1 test counter here. So we're going to put 1 test counter on the island of Dr. Zola. Never mind my cat trying to get in the door back there. You might hear. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so Dr. Zola is going to attack Gamora. Gets 1 boost card, which is 1 plus 2 is 3. So we'll do 3 damage to Gamora. 1, 2, 3. And then the Ultimate Bioservant is going to attack Gamora. Is going to do another damage to Gamora. Another 1. Okay. Then we have 2 encounter cards that we're going to draw. So we have 1 and 2 over here. So our first encounter card is Technological Enhancements. In Site 1, when revealed, place 1 test counter on the main scheme. So it's going to incite, which is going to add 1 threat, and then we're going to put another test counter on the main scheme. Remember, when that gets to 3, it reads that we need to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. We don't need any more minions out here today, folks. Our next one says, defensive program attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of defensive programming. If you cannot, it gains surge. Well, we do have an ultimate bioservant on the table, so he gets +2 hit points and gains guard. So now we're going to have to deal with the ultimate bioservant. All right. So, Gamora's turn. We have Nebula still on the table. Keen Instincts. I think what we're going to do first is we're going to play that One Way or Another card. We're going to discard that. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal it, and draw 3 cards. So we'll go ahead and search our encounter deck for that same scheme that we just discarded a minute ago, the Time Portal. When the scheme is defeated, shuffle it back into the encounter deck. Comes into play with 2 threat on it. 2 threat on the Time Portal. And keep in mind, I do get to draw 3 cards. So clear the area, Ironheart, and set the pace. So, very nice. Under Surveillance is one of my favorite cards to use in solo. It says attached to the main scheme, and it adds 4 to the threat value of this main scheme. So 6 would go to 10. Excuse me. Let's see what we can do. We have set the pace, remove 1 threat from a scheme, Power of Justice, which will allow us to get that card out there. I think that's what we're going to do. We are going to play Under Surveillance to put that on the island of Dr. Zola for those 2 resources, the Power of Justice. We'll go ahead and exhaust, clear the area, or Keen Instincts to play clear the area, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. So we're going to clear the area of the Time Portal. That's going to remove that scheme. And when that happens, I can do 1 damage. And I need to do that over here to the Ultimate Bioservant, I believe. Well, it's not an attack. But I do think that we need to take care of this guy. He's going to be trouble. So we'll go ahead and remove the tough card. Then we will play Ironheart for 2, using the strength card. And whenever we play Ironheart, we can draw a card. Now, did we draw a card for our... I don't believe we did. When we played to clear the area, we got to draw a card, Conditioning Room. And now when we play Ironheart, we get to draw another card, which is Rocket Raccoon. Look at that. Not bad, Rocket. So we will bring Rocket into play. That'll be our 3 allies that we can have. We're going to spend 3 resources to bring Rocket out. So Rocket says, when Rocket Raccoon attacks a minion, he gets +3 for the attack, and it gains overkill. So we're going to exhaust Rocket Raccoon to do 1 damage, consequential damage to him, to do 4 damage to the Ultimate Bioservant. Okay, and then we can exhaust Gamora to do two more damage to the Ultimate Bioservant, which will remove him to the discard pile. Got rid of the Ultimate Bioservant. We'll exhaust Nebula to take care of that test subjects. It says the first player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until they discard a minion and reveal that minion. Can I change my mind, folks? I'm going to put those two back on there. And I think before we do that, we're going to exhaust Ironheart. I'll leave her upright for now. We're going to exhaust Ironheart, remove one threat from the island of Dr. Zola. And it puts one threat on Ironheart. Now Gamora is going to flip. And I'll tell you why. There are a lot of minions in that encounter deck that have Quick Strike on it. I don't want to deal with that right now. So we'll go ahead and flip Gamora over. When I do that, her ability says that I can look at the top card of my deck and draw it if I like. I kind of like Relentless Assault. That's a good one to keep. So I'll just put that in my hand over here. And now Nebula is going to do the test subjects. She's going to remove 2 threat from the test subjects. That takes care of that side scheme. And then we will, according to the card, discard cards from the encounter deck until they discard a minion and reveal that minion. So, first one is a Berserk Mutate. Has Quick Strike, but I flipped over to my alter ego side, so there's no attack there. And he has a scheme of 0. I love that. So, we'll go ahead and ready Nebula. We'll ready Keen Instincts. We'll ready Gamora. We're going to ready Ironheart. We'll ready Rocket Raccoon. We're going to draw up our hand size of 6. So we'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have Lay Down the Law. We have Keen Instincts. Sorry about the loud pickup truck in the background. We have Set the Pace, For Justice, and Relentless Assault. Hopefully I did everything right on that turn. A little distracted by the cat. 6 cards. Oh, this is interesting because we're going to add 1 threat to the island of Dr. Zola. And then we're going to add our 3rd test counter to the island of Dr. Zola. Puts it up to 3, which it says whenever it gets 3 at the end of this, then we have to remove those 3. And discard top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. So we have a pirate commander, Quick Strike, Force Response. After this minion attacks and damages you, remove 1 card at random in your hand from the game. So the pirate commander is now on the table. Put him over here by the Berserk Mutate. Okay, put my hand over here for now. So now Zola is going to scheme. So he's 2 plus. It says give the villain a tough status card. That's our boost. So Zola is going to get a tough status card. Adds another layer to him. But he only adds 2. And the pirate commander is going to add another 2. That puts the island of Dr. Zola up to 6, keeping in mind that we do have under surveillance in our hand. And that's going to be all of the threat place this round, hopefully. And now we'll draw our encounter card, which reads, Caught Off Guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Well, I do have an upgrade, Keen Instincts. Tough one to lose right now. But that'll take care of that obligation there. That encounter card, that treachery card. So that will end Dr. Zola's turn. We'll bring it over to Gamora's side of the table. We do have Relentless Assault. We have 4 Justice, Set the Pace, Acrobatic Move, Lay Down the Law, and another Keen Instinct in our hand. Keeping in mind that we are in our alter ego form, so we can look at the top card of the deck, which is Clear the Area. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you remove the last of it, you can discard this card. So we do have some things going for us here. I think the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to exhaust Rocket Raccoon. Remember, he's +3 attack, and it has overkill whenever I attack a minion. So Rocket Raccoon is going to attack the Berserk Mutate. That will remove him, and it'll do 1 additional damage over here to Zola. So that knocks off his tough card. We got to figure out a way to get through that 14 health. We've got Relentless Assault. Deal 5 damage to a minion. If you paid for this using a fist resource, this attack gains overkill. So I think what we'll do next is we will I like Lay Down the Law too. It says if you use a mental resource that you can remove 4 after you flip. So we might just do that. We have 4 Justice as well. I think we'll spend our 4 Justice card to put out our Keen Instincts. We'll flip Gamora. Keeping in mind we did need to put 1 damage on Rocket Raccoon. When we flip Gamora, we can use our Lay Down the Law. And I think we'll use the Clear the Area mental resource to take 4 threat off the island of Dr. Zola. So 1, 2, 3, 4 threat comes off the island of Dr. Zola. And that was my first thwart event, so I can do 1 damage. So we'll just do that 1 damage over here to Dr. Zola. Brings him down to 13. We have Relentless Assault. We used that Keen Instincts a minute ago to play Lay Down the Law. Relentless Assault, Set the Pace, Acrobatic Move. If we were to do 2 damage from Gamora onto the Pirate Commander, I'll take her down to 2, or take her down 2 to 4. We'll then do 1 damage with Ironheart onto the Pirate Commander. 3 damage on her now. And that consequential damage will remove Ironheart. We also have Nebula. She can do 2 damage to the Pirate Commander. Let me make sure I got the right resources before I... Yep, I do have the right resource to do that. So we're going to do 2 more damage to the Pirate Commander. We'll add 1 and 2. That'll bring her to 5 of 6. And then, playing Relentless Assault will deal 5 damage to the minion. I'm going to use the physical resource to gain overkill. So 1 damage will go on the Pirate Commander, 4 damage will go on to Zola. Now we'll remove the Pirate Commander. Four damage onto Zola. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brings him down to 9. Gamora's going to ready. Keen Instincts readies. Rocket Raccoon at the ready. And we'll draw our 5 cards. So we draw Cross Counter, draw Lockjaw, lay down the law, clear the area, and for justice. Keep in mind, too, that we did play that Relentless Assault, which was an attack event, so that did allow me to remove one threat. That was my first attack event. Let me just double check to make sure that that's the case. Yeah, that was my only attack event that turn, so I did get to remove one threat from the island of Dr. Zola. Very good. So now what do I want to do? Clear the area for justice, lockjaw, and cross counter. I do like that cross counter card. So I think what we'll do is we're just going to lay our hand here for now, see what happens. We're going to add one threat to the island of Dr. Zola. We're going to put one test counter on the island of Dr. Zola. We have cross counter. It's a defense event that says when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, deal 1 damage to an enemy, and remove 1 threat from a scheme. And this is all attack, defense, and thwart. I really like that. So we'll have Dr. Zola attack Gamora, and he's going to draw a card. So he draws 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. If I go ahead and play that, and I spin my keen instincts to do so, then I can prevent 3 damage. So Gamora will only take 1 damage. And she will attack Dr. Zola for 1, remove 1 thwart. And because I played both an attack and a defense, then we can also remove, this is a separate phase from before, and that takes Dr. Zola down to 7. So cross counter is removed, and Shadows of the Past goes to the discard pile, and we draw our encounter card. So our encounter card reads, when revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a tech attachment is discarded. Attach that card to Zola's Mutate. So we got Zola's Mutate. We have to discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until we find an attachment. So there's a Zola's Mutate. We draw a Mind Ray, which is a treachery card. Ancient Warrior. Neurological Implants. Attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of Neurological Implants attached. If you cannot discard gain surge, attached minion gets +2 hit points. So he is beefy. He has +2 scheme, +2 attack, 7 hit points. Not a fellow we want to keep around for long. So what can we do on our turn? He's not a guard. So I think what we're going to do on our turn, we only have 4 cards left. Would be nice to get Lockjaw out there. And I think I will. But I'll have to do it a little bit creatively. So Rocket Raccoon's going to attack Dr. Zola. That's going to do 1 damage to him. Rocket Raccoon will take Retaliate, but the consequential damage will knock him out anyway. And then Gamora, she herself, is going to attack for 2 damage, which knocks Zola down to 4. And he has Retaliate, so I'm going to take her down to 2. If we flip now to our alter ego side, that allows us to draw a card, and I hope I draw an attack or thwart event, and it is. It's a good one too. So with those 4 resources, I can go ahead and put out Lockjaw. Lockjaw is going to attack Dr. Zola for 2, which takes him down to 2. He takes 2 consequential damage plus a Retaliate, so that's going to put 3 damage onto Lockjaw. And that is going to end my turn. Let's see if we can survive one last turn, or if we're going to prolong the agony. My draw deck is getting very low. So 6 cards. So we got Gamora Sword. We have Groot. He is Groot. We have Forward Momentum. We draw Lay Down the Law, Energy, and Relentless Assault. So those are our 6 cards. Gamora's turn is over. We will add 1 threat to the island of Dr. Zola. We're going to put that test counter there. Dr. Zola is going to scheme. Keep in mind the threshold is 10. So he draws a Pirate Lackey. Give the villain 1 additional boost for this activation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threat. We'll go on the island of Dr. Zola. And Zola's mutate has 1, 2, 3. So we add 3 more. So we are 1 threat away from completing that first island of Dr. Zola. I keep wanting to say Dr. Moreau. Why would I do that? Next, we draw our encounter card, which reads, attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points without another copy of defensive programming. Oh boy. Attached minion gets +2 hit points and gains guard. So now we have a minion out there that we cannot ignore. He's got guard. I don't think we can. Can't ignore him. Let's see what we can do on my turn. All right. So we get to draw a card, which is Under Surveillance. We don't get to draw it, because it's not an attack or a thwart event. We are going to play Lay Down the Law. Boy, I wish he was down to 1 health. Lay Down the Law. Or my sword. And Groot. Remove 3 threat. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to attack with Lockjaw. So Lockjaw goes to the discard pile. Places 2 damage on Zola's mutate. Keep in mind he's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got to do 9 damage to get rid of Zola's mutate. We have Relentless Assault to allow us to spill over damage, and we can put out Groot. Let us see what happens. We're going to put out Groot for 3, spending energy, and we'll spend Forward Momentum to put Groot out. Groot is going to attack Zola's mutate. 2 consequential damage onto Groot to do 2 damage to Zola's mutate. Then we will flip. Can we do that? I don't think we can. I don't know if we're going to get it. So we're going to flip to the Gamora side. And Gamora is going to do 2 damage to Zola's mutate. That takes him up to 6. And we may have it. We're going to play Relentless Assault. Oh, so close. When I flipped, I could play Lay Down the Law, which would remove threat. Yeah. No, can't do it. May have miscalculated. So there's at 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That might be it, actually. So if we play Relentless Assault, We're going to spend 2 resources to play Relentless Assault. That will add 5 damage plus overkill. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus the overkill would go over to Dr. Zola for 2 damage. And yeah, I had it. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Zola's mutate is defeated. And so Gamora has defeated Dr. Zola. So that was a fun game. So again, I would like to thank the Marvel Champions Monthly podcast crew for issuing this challenge, and I know that they would be interested if you're attempting it as well. They would love to hear your results. So I will post a link down below where you can record the outcome of your game. So I want to thank everyone for watching today. If you saw anything that I messed up or did anything wrong, my feelings are hard to hurt. Please let me know. I love to learn. You can shoot me an email at boardgamelawyer@gmail.com, or you can comment below. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to be able to bring you another video again next week.